and I am pleased to announce you are getting a bonus third video today. I read this article and it just made so much sense. It put some of these pieces together that you just didn't know how or where the pieces came from, of how do these delegates work and the RNC and the DNC, and how do they change the rules at the last minute like they did to Ron Paul, took his delegates and gave them to, Bozo, and how do they do that? Like, aren't rules, and don't they have to change them in advance? And what's this Rule 40? And right? So I see this article, April la June. Reince Priebus manipulates voters lying to Republicans about delegates, rules, and process. And they go on to explain just exactly how it's done. So I have to read this to you. Hands down, the chair of the Republican Party, Reince Priebus, has been lying and manipulating the voters on how the process for nominating and voting for a presidential candidate is chosen. Repeatedly, he said, quote, "The rules are fair," knowing full well the rules are not fair from the local to the national level. Through a series of links and searches, the actual rules of the Republican Party, which are not posted on their website anywhere, are posted here on my website, and you can download them. At the end of this article, you'll find links to all the information I'm giving you now, and I, JSnip4, will be linking this one for you so you can go right to it. If you take the time to read the entire 21-page document, which is in very small print, you'll notice there are very interesting circles and roundabouts, which, if you can connect the dots, would be difficult for anyone to understand. Because lawyers and politicians have to make everything rocket science, trying to clarify things for those who might bump their heads on common sense, there are quite a few rules boiling down to the fact that the RNC Rules Committee can pretty much do whatever they want, whenever they want, under the eye of the RNC Executive Committee, which includes Priebus. Rule number 10 is the committees of the Republican National Committee establishing a standing committee on rules of the Republican National Committee. There is no provision within this particular paragraph stating when the committees meet or when they set the rules. There's also a provision for a standing committee on resolutions who is supposed to review and recommend any resolutions brought to them in proper format and within the time according to the rules. In addition to the set of rules referenced above, the RNC also includes, within its rhetoric, governing rules and procedures as written for the House of Representatives and whatever the current version of the Roberts Rules of Order might say. Under Rule number 15, the states are supposed to prepare an instruction document to distribute in their various districts and counties, including how to elect delegates, but there's no real time frame for when this needs to be done. However, moving down to Rule number 16, there's a rule that says on or before October 1, each RNC state committee is supposed to adopt their rules and procedures. In Colorado, this is what happened by Colorado State GOP when they changed the rules to taking away the vote of the people for presidential nominee. There's nothing that says the rules have to be adopted by the majority of the voting membership of the Republican Party within the state. In fact, I can't find anything in any of these documents limiting the power of the executive boards at any level. Sure, you could argue Robert's Rules of Order might apply, but they've taken care of that provision by adding in Rule number 16, waiver provisions, which give the RNC free rein to let states do whatever they want with the line, quote, "in the best interest of the Republican Party," end quote. By doing this, it leaves it wide open for Priebus to push through his own agenda or that of big money groups and those who have rigged the system in their favor. Most reporters and pundits are publishing Rule number 40 of the GOP rules, saying paragraph B is where the controversy lies. To a point, this is correct. Back in 2012, when Mitt Romney was running against Ron Paul, and Paul had 5 states in his lineup of delegates, and fearing he would be allowed to speak to the assembly, they changed the rules and make him ineligible for nomination. At the National Convention in Florida in 2012, the Rules Committee bumped up the requirement of states needed to win from 5 to 8, which made Ron Paul ineligible. Since the rules governing the GOP say the chairman can call for the Rules Committee to meet to and make recommendations to amend the rules at any time, traditionally they just meet at the convention and change them after everyone's run and been voted for, putting the weight in favor of whichever candidate they want to win, regardless of how many delegates or votes they have received. Even the number 1237 doesn't really matter. They can kick that out too if they wanted. Now, in rule number 41, near the bottom, C and D, supposedly recommended changes to the rules are to be clearly marked and sent along with a letter stating the reason for the changes and must be approved by the RNC. It's implied this information is to be provided to the RNC chair in the Rules Committee, but still, it's not very clear on purpose. The rules which were adopted on the last listed date are supposed to be the governing rules of the party until the next convention, and at that time are only temporary. Basically, you're not going to find any rules per se that specifically state rules can be changed at whim. What you will find is a series of loopholes in rules giving power to the committees and boards, which does a continuous loop. For example, the Rules Committee can accept recommendations to changing the rules, but if they don't like the rule change, they can scrap it. Therefore, if you're going to submit a resolution to put a stop to the Rules Committee changing the rules by themselves in favor of the people voting on the rule changes, you might as well forget it. They will scrap it, throw it in the round file, and never bring it to the floor of the state or national conventions. You'll never see it past the congressional district if you're a delegate from precinct to district. Also, if you try to go to the resolutions committee, you are crap out of luck here too. Although in the creation paragraph of a standing committee dealing with resolutions, it appears as if a member of the Republican Party can bring forth resolutions. However, if you read further, you'll see any resolutions have to have at least one member of the state GOP to also sign off on the resolution. Good luck with that, as it will never, ever happen. This is why all resolutions pertaining to getting control of the party being passed to the people is never going to happen. It's just not going to happen as the GOP stands now. Unless there are multiple deaths at the same time in all executive boards and every delegate elected as a state or national delegate suddenly grew a conscience and thought, "We the people," was an actual statement to stand by, you might as well understand right now your vote does not count. Your vote will never count, and delegates are puppets of the GOP. Bottom line, we've all been duped into joining a party which has no intention of standing by the Constitution of the United States or having a party of the people. Therefore, page 2 of the Rules of the Republican Party, which is called the Preamble, is a load of crap, and here's what it says. You're going to love this. And I know where your mind's going to go immediately. To what I always talk about, the Patriot Act is so patriotic. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's anti-patriotic. What was the other one I always talk about? The St. Germain Act of the 1980s savings and loan crisis, which was good for the people. It was terrible for the people. Another banker bailout in the 80s. Affordable Care Act. Health care. No taxes. Oh, there's a tax. Oh, and it's way more expensive. It's the opposite. It's not. It's unaffordable care, right? Sorry. So let me go back to the preamble. You are going to love this. Be it resolved that the Republican Party is the party of the open door. Ours is the party of liberty, the party of equality, of opportunity for all, and favoritism for none. It is the intent and purpose of these rules to encourage and allow the broadest possible participation of all voters in Republican Party activities at all levels, and to assure that the Republican Party is open and accessible to all Americans. Do I need to go back and reread rule this and rule that? I didn't think so. It's a farce written to throw off the voters, grab power through flowery words, and has nothing to do with accessibility and equality. Therefore, when Rush Limbaugh or Laura Ingraham, Karl Rove or Charles Crunthammer pretend the rules are fair, that's also a load of crap. Posted rules do not equate to fairness. These posted rules completely favor power and money of elitists and friends. The deck is absolutely stacked in favor of golden children of the party. It's true, Ted Cruz is playing by the rules. But what he isn't saying is the rules are rigged, and he is well aware of it. This is why he's been pandering to the delegates and upper crust elites, double-talking his previous constitutional stance, pretending as if he is a we the people kind of guy. In Colorado, Cruz has repeatedly shown he doesn't care about the people. He only cares about the delegates and power people running the party. He is fully aware of his efforts, or that his efforts have to appease these people if he has any shot at being the nominee of the Republican Party. What the people aren't seeing, especially those backing Cruz, is if he gets it and gets in there, the establishment wins again, and the people are screwed. You can vote for Hillary, Cruz, John Kasich, and you're voting for the same old establishment running the government just like they've been doing all along. This is what the GOP is counting on. They're trying to call the bluff of the people by saying, of course you won't vote for Hillary or Bernie Sanders. That would be suicide. Oh, yeah. Zombie mode on. Lesser of two evils. Hillary, no way. Sanders, no way. Ted Cruz, evil, but not that evil. Lesser of two evils. I will vote for Cruz because he is lesser of two evils. Who the hell made that crap up? And then when you go to work, that's all you hear. Yeah, well, lesser of two evils. Go look over, walk down the hallway. Yeah, he's lesser of two evils. Yeah, next room. Where can I go to? Same situation. Do these people that you work with and I work with and wherever, do they just come up with that on their own? They just all of a sudden, everyone goes to work one day and everyone understands, oh yeah, the lesser two evil thing. I know exactly what that is. As if you guys had a discussion about it last week and the term came up because it sounded good. You heard it somewhere. So now you think, I want to be in on the conversation. Oh, politics, I'd like to talk about that. I don't know anything about it, but I'll talk about it. And all of the news, I just keep hearing about lesser of two evils. Change the channel, Fox News, lesser of two evils. CNN, lesser of two evils. MSNBC, lesser of two evils. And they're all saying the same guy is the lesser of those two evils. So that's what the conversation at work tomorrow is going to be. I think a ton of people have awoken to this, and they realize it. The media is lying to us, right? Like I said earlier, turn on CNN again. I got to see what the enemy's doing. Bottom, like the red alert tag at the bottom of CNN, little strip down there. New poll: 68% say would not vote for Trump. Okay, but hold on. How can he have the most people showing up and the most support, but 68% say they won't vote for him? So when they have a little strip down there that says that, what do? They call people that they already know are attached to one person or another, Hillary or Cruz or Sanders, whoever, and they're just going to, would you vote for Trump? No. Thank you. Have a nice day, sir. Whoa, are you asking who I'm going to vote for? No, we just wanted you to say you weren't voting for Trump. Next. Oh, and a handful of 1,000 randomly selected. How many of you remember that guy, Frank Luntz? He's always on Fox News around election time. And he has these little makeshift, we just gathered some people in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hand if you're going to vote for Ron Paul. Boo. Boo. Oh, how about Mitt Romney? Yeah. So any establishment names? Yeah. And then that was a 2008 election, I believe. And then in 2012, they did it again. Hey, there's Frank Luntz. There he is. He's doing the same thing again. And they showed him supposedly these random people. Hey, would you like coming in and we're going to ask about who you're going to vote for? Oh, yeah, sure. And then you see some of the same people that you saw last time. Or the same people just happen to walk down the same random street somewhere. You know, it's not the same, but some random street that you guys happen to be there reporting. And, oh, hey, I'll come participate again. Are you going to vote for, Donald Trump? Oh, no, boo. How much do you want to bet when this thing starts gearing up and you see old Frank Luntz out there, Fox News, they're going to do that. And whatever candidate they're pushing, it ain't going to be Trump. You will see him do the same crap. Again, it's all perception. Even if they really, truly randomized and got some different people in there to do this for propaganda, they can ask him in advance. Hey, so, yeah, are you active political? Yeah. You vote? Yeah, I vote every time. Okay. If you don't mind me asking, who are you going to vote for this time? Oh, I'm going to go with Hillary. Okay. Listen, would you like to be in a randomly selected, Yeah, sure, I'll come over. Next person. Who would you? I'd like to vote for Ted Cruz. Would you like to be? Right, next guy. Who would you mind me asking who you're voting for? Oh, God, I got to go with Trump. Oh, okay, thanks, appreciate that. Have a nice day. And then, just like they did, I listened to the guy talk about the Colorado delegate nonsense. He was a delegate. And he said when they found out this guy, delegates were voting for Trump, essentially, thanks, guys, you're no longer needed. Have a nice day. That was the RNC. Thanks, pretty much. You have a nice day. We don't need you anymore. See how that works? And you don't think they could do that on mainstream media? Find the right group of people, and then once the cameras are on, they're already sitting in their chairs, and Frank Luntz has got the mic. Yeah, I just got a randomly selected group of people in here, and guys, who are you voting? Raise your hand if you... It's all propaganda. It's rigged, all of it. He ends this and says, look, just to be fair, the Democratic Party, DNC, is set up the same way. It's all smoke and mirrors. Yes, Virginia, the system is rigged. So I will link this to you for you if you want to download any of these documents or read this yourself. I do think it's well worth having a copy of some of these things so that any bozo you run across, you can say, well, check this out. Tell me if this seems right to you in a democracy.